I already knew from the get-go that JD Vance was not going to be a popular VP pick for Trump. When it was first announced that JD Vance was going to be on the ticket, I even saw a lot of Trumpers on Twitter be like, yeah, is this really the guy Trump wants to go with? Because it's not like Vance's previous disdain for Trump was much of a secret. In 2016, he said, I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole, like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. Also in 2016, in his book Hillbilly Elegy, he referred to Trump as cultural heroin and just another opioid for middle America. And when Trump was president, he referred to him as a moral disaster and a fraud who did not care one iota for the general public. He says now, oh, I regret saying those things. I was wrong back then. Trump is actually a great guy, but even a lot of the most ride or die hardcore Trumpers see through that. They're like, okay, back then you never missed an opportunity to make your disdain for the guy known, but now that it's politically expedient to rally behind him, that's when you change your opinion on a dime? You're a never Trumper who is aware of how unpopular of a position that is in your party, so you decided to hop on the train instead of sticking by your principles. And not to mention, he's also very unpopular in his home region. From Newsweek, a CNN/SSRS poll revealed that 28% of people hold a favorable view of Vance in Ohio, where he's the current senator of. My condolences to any viewer who lives in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, and Wisconsin, with 44% saying they have an unfavorable view of the MAGA senator. But even with taking all of this into account, I did not think that picking JD Vance to be the running mate would backfire this fucking badly for Trump's campaign. A previous statement from Vance that is currently biting him in the ass the most is one that he made back in 2021 on Tucker Carlson's show back when he was on Fox News, where he said the US was being run by Democrats, corporate oligarchs, and a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. Now, the problem with JD Vance is how terminally online he is. He's used to making statements like this on places such as Twitter, which is pretty much a Nazi echo chamber hellhole at this point, and used to getting applause from the rampant misogynists and very likely also incels who follow him. But now he is hoisted onto a national stage. Normal people do not think about shit like this. They don't think, you know what's the real problem with this country? Women who choose not to have children and substitute children with cats. In fact, not having children is becoming an increasingly popular choice in this country. From CNN, the proportion of adults in the United States younger than 50 years old who do not have children is growing, leaping from 37% in 2018 to 47% in 2023. And this can arise from a multitude of reasons: economic turmoil, people who realize that they're not in a good financial situation and would not be able to financially sustain a child, or they just plain don't want children. This isn't the fucking 1950s anymore. People have since realized that you can live a happy and fulfilled life without having a child in it. Like me, I cannot stand the presence of children. I don't like children, and I know that I am not equipped to handle the responsibility of being a father, so I am choosing not to be one. And JD Vance has done nothing but double down on this statement, saying shit like, Democrats want to destroy the traditional family unit in this country. Do you really think this is doing wonders for the youth vote, a demographic who, again, is less likely to have a child than previous generations? Especially women who are in their late teens and 20s. Do you think they like being told by someone who may very well be second in command in this country's highest office that their life serves no purpose unless they are a man's baby-making machine? Because that's the underlying gist of all of this. I've said it before on this channel, Republicans like JD Vance do not view women as people, but rather vessels for carrying a man's child. That's why they do not believe that women have bodily autonomy. They do not believe that women have the right to call the shots when it comes to carrying a pregnancy to term or not, even though that fetus is developing in her own fucking body. They do not view women as people. And the electorate is catching on to this disgusting misogyny, and that's why Republicans have been underperforming in elections since the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And the topic of abortion is crucial this election cycle because, one, this is the first general election after Roe v. Wade was overturned, and also, two key battleground states have abortion on their ballots this November: Nevada and Arizona. Abortion being on the ballot is already a guarantee when it comes to increased Dem voting voter turnout. Couple that with a VP pick who does not even attempt to mask his misogyny, and I think that spells disaster for the Republicans this November. He is also the most unpopular, non-incumbent VP nominee in decades. His favorability polls at -6. This puts the likes of Sarah Palin and Dan Quayle to shame. But you know what? I am loving every single second of this. Kudos to JD Vance, the unexpected savior of democracy, by single-handedly tanking Trump's campaign. I would love to be a fly on the wall at wherever the fuck Trump currently is, just to see him scrambling and panicking over how badly he fucked up. Because apparently he didn't even fucking want JD Vance. He originally wanted Doug Burgum, someone a little bit more moderate who would appeal better to median voters. But it was apparently his idiot sons Don Jr. and Eric Trump, Elon Musk, and Tucker Carlson who got into his ear and convinced him to pick JD Vance instead. The funniest person to me out of all these losers is Elon Musk. Yeah, go ahead, Republicans. Keep telling me how much of a fucking genius he is. May JD Vance continue sinking Trump's campaign, and I hope for many more embarrassing moments from him in these next 3 months. I'm still not over that one clip where he's like, Democrats think everything is racist. I just had Mountain Dew. I bet they think that's racist too. Like, what? The worst thing that'll happen to you for drinking Mountain Dew next to heart disease is someone calling you out for your garbage taste in beverages. You're not hardcore, dude. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Bye-bye.